Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Upsurge. We've got 4 matches ahead of us, 4 teams even tonight, and there should be 2 fire games. I'm joined here by the wonderful Whippet. What are you thinking about these 2 matches we've got to get over with? Because I feel like these are probably 4 of the best teams in the league.
I don't think I could be any more excited if possible. These two teams, at least in our very first matchup, are just so fantastic. And honestly, a lot of people when I came over here to start casting in North America have really highlighted these 2 rosters as keep an eye on them. They're gonna show some fantastic matchups, and hopefully they can deliver on those fireworks tonight.
Yeah, I'm fairly familiar with Prevail. Momo is a good friend of mine. He's also a very talented Ashe player. Always seems to be able to kind of crouch walk into an area that the defense is unexpecting. Over on Slaughterhouse Bravo, their roster has had kind of a mixed bag in terms of history. In terms of Burnt Turkey, he has been around for a long time, one of probably the most experienced players in this lobby, kind of duoing on the other side with Boomski, who's actually got experience moving up to kind of that T2, T1 area, playing inside of the Canada division before it was taken away by Ubisoft, unfortunately. I think Prevail have had a really good pickup, managing to get this player Boomski on here in place of previously it was Matt, who I believe had some personal issues going on with him. They have not looked like they have slowed down really at all since the qualifiers. Both of these teams immediately starting out in the gate of week 1 with an initial win, looking to try and move up to that first place spot, lock it in here for this match tonight.
Well, Burnt Turkey is a really player I really want to highlight personally. Some of the games I've already seen him playing, the performance he has put in on that more anchored role, on that smoke, I believe on Villa last week, I witnessed him play an absolutely stellar performance, a real rock of that team. And I'm really interested to see if that's going to play on, if the similar role is going to get played in tonight's matchup. But this is a very big one. These are 2 heavy hitters of this group. And I'm really intrigued about whoever wins this could definitely kind of drive their way on forward to success. And this could send a ripple through the entire group so far because, as I kind of already referenced, these are your 2 big heavy hitters as everyone's primed me for. And well, we can theory craft, we can talk about our rosters all we want, but we do have to know what map we'll be going to. So I'm excited to see where these teams will be bringing us tonight.
Yeah, let's jump on over towards it. Looks like we've got Oregon as the decider, so probably some moans coming out from the crowd that we have to go here again, but it's a fairly flat and even battleground. Nothing too exciting going on here. As far as looking at the map vetoes, I don't think I could really tell you anything outstanding, why one team might decide to ban a map over the other. Oregon and Clubhouse being left as those last 2, playing something that's comfortable here in the group stage for a best of 1 makes a lot of sense. Something to keep in mind, however, is depending on the momentum of this match, things could become troublesome once we eventually get into overtime, because Upsurge has moved away from the infinite overtime that we had last season to just that standard 3 rounds OT, and that's it.
So not having that infinite overtime really does force it. If it gets into those narrower margins, it gets a little bit tighter, a little bit tricky for teams, so composure will be king. But as you were mentioning, going to a map like Oregon makes a lot of sense. Best of 1 format, group stage is not want to perhaps show the depth of that scrapbook yet, so bring out a map that everyone is used to. But we're ready to hop into our action here. Slaughterhouse Bravo versus Prevail here on Oregon. And our ban phase begins to rolling out. I wonder, will we see Thatcher make it through the cut? I don't believe it will. He's probably going to be the first one to go in. What a surprise. Hope he is.
Yeah, it would be hard fought to find an Oregon game where Thatcher is left up on the board. He is just, he just gets kind of stuck in jail, and that's just that. The secondary ban could be a little bit more dynamic. A lot of times you'll see that kind of Maverick just to join up with the Thatcher, but we'll have the Hibana taken away, which I suppose is a little bit unusual. Oregon relies a little less on kind of that hatch dynamic where you might see the Hibana step up on a map like Clubhouse. There are a few hatches here or there that you need to get, and maybe the Hibana, kind of a little bit more flexible in terms of the deployment of her utility, but it does leave Ace and Maverick up on the board. You've got that Valkyrie taken away. The final ban could be the Cade, but I feel like banning someone like a Maestro or a Mira could be a little bit more helpful here.
Yeah, Maestro Oromir is going to be far more influential than Akayid. Yes, those electric claws can be really pesky, but again, the hatch dynamic isn't the strongest on a map like Oregon, so, well, there it is. Mirror is going to get removed. So, as I probably say to, like a broken record at this point, but getting rid of those mirror windows now in this ban phase, much easier than trying to do it while you're under pressure in the lobby itself, dealing with that time ticking down and any other presence from the opposition. So, moving to the list, Slaughterhouse Bravo are going to be on that defensive side. Historically, Oregon's been weighted towards that defensive side, but in recent time, this kind of the primary side of upstairs inside of dorms has beginning to fall away, slip closer and closer to that 50-50 dynamic. So I really do wonder if we'll see some more success from Prevail on that offensive side on this one because, as this map is still not old, but kind of it's been figured out, it's been pretty well developed as so far. Well, cracks in the defensive climate that we know and love begin to show.
Yeah, we can go ahead and jump into this Group B matchup now. One of the big matches that we've been kind of working towards in terms of the regular season here. I don't imagine we're going to see anything too surprising for this first defense headed up to dorms. You've got your intel game coming through from Call, playing on the Echo, and then pretty much standard stuff. I don't think you could really call anything out here as surprising. Boomski will not forgo to bring the Nomad, making sure that those flanks are going to be immediately locked down and that will not be a problem coming through later in the game. And there's always something to worry about. I haven't noted Slaughterhouse Bravo particularly as kind of like a super crazy team. Doc does have a few tendencies here or there to kind of play outside the box if his team lets him. Sort of just depends on how they're looking to approach this, though. If they're going to let Doc kind of sort of spin his wheels and freewheel around the map, or if he's going to play kind of more for a sensible defense here.
The biggest thing on the defensive side of stuff that's ringing out to me is that addition of the Echo. It's not very common that you see this operator getting brought out on a map like this, where being static and using the Yokai drones can be to a bit of a detriment, especially with how quickly an offensive side can collapse in towards that final stage of the objective. I wonder, would these be more used for an advanced position, assisting any roam presence available, or further extended, not perhaps trying to deny that plant necessarily. Entryways begin and trying to push in. Looks like perhaps a double split's going to be entailed. It would be a very strong strategy indeed to have that split side. Double pressure is going to be very critical to be able to choke out any power positions.
Yeah, fairly simple attack so far. Ace goes down. You've got the wall open, and so now Momo going to look to apply a little bit of pressure as he goes for a few bit of chip shots just right there through the trophy door. Prevail working their way ever so slowly here, making their progress and trying to approach the last stages of the execute. Just thinking about this here. There we go. Seems like maybe Prevail going to go for more of a split take option, get into attic control and try to force the defense out. I wonder what Miku's plan might be, though. Thinking about this attic play, try and get up through the hatch and just deny the attackers when they move in through this area.
I really like that potential threat of that C4 down below the hands of Malusi could have a massive impact in this round. Minute 30 remains, yet to see initial fights, no damage done. So very, very carefully position, facing down towards the white stairs. Momo as well, holding to lock down these positions and really limit any mobility, any rotation potential. But the defense can just sit pretty. All they must do is hold their angles, sit, be patient, and look at the top of the screen. Burn that timer away. The entry inside of attic is there, but you have to be a catalyst. You've got to make something happen. This was where the linearity of Oregon mixes with the requirement of someone to spark this engagement. You need someone to step up as an individual and find that opening kill. And so far, no one's been able to find it. Looks like big window. Could be some contention now. Has just been opened up, and there's the first of 3 toxic canisters used away to help choke off this push. That's going to be off towards Momo's direction, and Miku still downstairs in meeting, and this is just going to be such a detrimental position if it isn't spotted out by Prevail, and looks like they think they might be retreating off to go for a different position as Gizmo outside that big window steps up and perhaps prepares to stage a final attack with 35 seconds remaining in this round.
Attic pressure could be something a little bit more for Prevail. It seems like they're having a lot of trouble dealing with Slaughterhouse's presence. You can see Boomski is actually rotated, playing so close to the green window here, but the Malusi will not try for that opportunity. Going to try to stay alive and play for that nitro cell, or actually it's already been expended. Rush is going to begin the plant, but Miku will peel away Momo's head. That's going to force the Ace to be a little bit more cautious here. Few shots exchanged. Rush is going to get back right on the case and exist here for coverage. But Boomski now taken out of the fight, and Rush having to consistently bounce off of that case. Slaughterhouse Bravo deny it outright. And Prevail, they're set up lackluster inside of the game site.
It all came down to they were able to get key positions. They got the wall open on both master bedroom and the attic, but from there, they kind of stalled out. They couldn't find some pace or extra momentum, and it came down to no one had any extra added information. No one had the positioning to be able to pounce and get the opening pick and launch off that position. We saw that the defense, once they got that, they started the cascade and run away with the round. And Miku was able to shut down that plant attempt as we hit 0-0. And ultimately, the timer done all the damage to Prevail's attack as Slaughterhouse Bravo take their very first round here in Oregon. Again, defense weighted maps. So the opening round, I never in any matchup take a lot of weight out of that one. Teams still have to figure out their opposition, see how things are going, and especially a map like this. If you're winning your first defensive round, somewhat expected in Oregon, but downstairs we go to the basement, and this will be probably a trickier task for Prevail.
Yeah, especially in the early stages of the offense here for Prevail, they still kind of have to suss out how Slaughterhouse are going to play and then make the call and how to react to that. It seemed like their pressure coming in from the attic side was a little bit underwhelming. Maybe they thought it was going to be given up for free, when in reality, Slaughterhouse Bravo kind of just sat there the whole time, had somebody playing for vertical, and then another actually in attic pit to actively go for the swing. That did not really leave Prevail with many options. They were not able to get from attic into pit, and then as a result, they couldn't really get anything solid for the foundation of the plant. It seemed like Prevail kind of just didn't know what to do in that last-ditch effort. They tried to get the case down. Slaughterhouse kept aggressing up and then denying it, forcing Prevail to kind of double-check themselves, getting off and then getting back on. Moving into this next round, they've got a pretty fast Prevail clear. Horizontal pressure coming in from dining side, making sure nobody from Slaughterhouse trying to inch their way away from the objective here. I'm liking this pressure that Prevail have got. Early presence, not letting Slaughterhouse Bravo leave any uncertainty on the map.
This fast and very somewhat aggressive push to get this initial map control, this is a sign of a very strong attacking presence on the side of Prevail, at least for this site, knowing that they need to get their presence and assert their dominance early. And from the looks of this, based on positions, it might be a main laundry pushes combined with Freezer. So that's where everything's seemingly getting set up, so I wonder if they're going to fully commit to that as Momo tries to push on down to Freezer. But I foresee a very recognizable sound, so well, that's going to be Cal's gone, drawn towards that position and narrowly misses the long shot with that empty 5, perhaps making anyone think twice about this exist, looking up towards that boosted position, trying to catch anyone. Hatch has now been opened, so they can begin to push closer and closer towards it. Massive checklist achieved, getting that hatch open applies lots of pressure, makes it very uncomfortable and difficult to move around this freezer. So Rush can't even have much impact from there as Momo sees that shield, but doesn't spot the player close to that wall. The visual cover is there from the smoke grenades, because this could be the catalyst that pounces round into action. Fusion's been dropped, giving Rush that potential to move around in that freedom. Lots of guns trained towards Freezer. Someone needs to be a pressure relief valve. Otherwise, they might funnel into a death trap. We hear that Alda sing off in the distance in the hands of Miku.
Yeah, this one looks like it's ever so close to boiling over. You've got Rush slowly inching his way towards the bottom of the laundry stairs here, but he does not seem to be aware that Slothy was hiding behind that bomb chassis. Swinging wide and shutting down Prevail in their main stairs presence. 3-stack coming in from Freezer. It looks like Prevail just gonna force this option, try to move on through, but they've got a lot of defenders to worry about. Sloshley will be that first line of the defense as he picks up his second, shuts down Momo, and really makes Prevail rethink about this Freezer push option, as the attackers are so far having really no luck in this push, getting shut out and getting forced back. Rumsky maybe almost able to secure a tiny bit of chip damage just right through the clothing on Miku, but that's not going to deter the Maestro, who will still sit fast, waiting for the opportunity to swing out. As Boomski, the Nomad, probably not the best player to try to make this play. He just gets absolutely walloped by Miku there, but Exist on the trade as he leaps over the wall. So many angles to watch, and Exist, he's just not good for it. Gizmo finally filed away. Slaughterhouse Bravo for their second defense. A good start for Prevail, but it seems like when they try to push into the site, everything just falls apart.
I couldn't have put it better myself. Both rounds we've seen now, they were able to get that initial control and achieve some very important bits of utility, like opening walls and hatches early in that round. They even got to the stage where they were applying direct pressure, but when they went from that transition from early game to mid game, they just either didn't have the information to pounce on players, or to positioning of Slaughterhouse Bravo was just better. They were passive, reserved, not giving pixels to shoot at. And when you play against a team who are very kind of retreated back, reserved, not giving a single opportunity for you to find that opening engagement, it can be frustrating and force rounds into that long grinding method and really force the initiative on the offensive side. And if SH Bravo can keep doing this, they might be able to make it a very frustrating and long offensive split for Prevail as we go to our tertiary site, going to be dining and kitchen. I think this is my favorite of the two tertiary sites. I love the dynamic around this extra box of showers, how it can be played, and I imagine on that Maestro, that's exactly who you're going to see fortifying this position and making it, well, very tricky bit of utility or bit of map control to claim later on in this round.
One thing you might think to note here is the fact that Prevail bring Rush on the Thermite. So this could work one of two ways. I think maybe Prevail could consider more of a meeting push, try to get open one of the kitchen walls, and then think about planting behind the metal box just towards the east. That could allow them a lot of leverage depending on how set up and how established Slaughterhouse Bravo is for that vertical game. You mentioned the idea of sort of this kind of no man's land showers hold that we've got going on for Call. If Prevail think about this in that way, they could just ignore it, try to come in from the east and attack it as such. But it looks though now Prevail gonna try to play for vertical game, get it up above, and then allow their hard breacher, maybe Rush, to be that main working force. Get open one of the dining walls and then just apply what would almost be kind of dry pressure. Their Sloppy though just waits below. Be kind of just stunned and slapped by Momo. Immediately the opening kill. That's the momentum Prevail desperately need here.
It's very brave to sit underneath a breach charge like that, and that's not going to work out, but Cal's going to be able to find a retrade there, as Miku as well. The defense very active so far with their guns, finding themselves in a 4 versus 3 advantage. But Miku inside of Elbow will be able to find yet another bit of success as Gizmo rotates down. Already, it looks like their initial push, the confidence that Prevail had early in this round, has been somewhat shattered. A run out there, and Rush is going to be very spooked by that one, as Doc's just going to make his presence known and retreat, relocate to cause chaos elsewhere around the map. So, with this vertical position opened up, and I really like that angle that Torch is made deep in the watch towards this rotation, as Rush will find the kill on the Miku there. A great position that was red, as Momo is going to get into the action. Burnt Turkey's next to fall, so the advantage now swings in favor of Prevail. Minute 30 remains, but can they pounce? The Doc's upstairs in a great angle, a great position. Flying around that hatch can do a lot of damage. And you've also got to worry about the 81 rounds available to that Alda LMG. If a single position is revealed or anyone's caught out guard, single squeeze of that trigger could be the demise of the entire team remaining of Prevail. Grenade primed and ready, but will it find its mark? Don't think so. We see that red silhouette off in the distance, playing deep in the hallway by double doors of white. And now it looks like the real pressure is going to be applied as Rush finds the kill, forcing this to 3 versus 1. The plant's going to try and go down. Will the Thermite get it? It's going to be a tricky engagement towards that door, but a swing is there. Well, Cal's going to be able to find that plant. 55 seconds remains, though, so surely it's going to go down. Looks like the coverage is there. But will the Alda get a chance to sing, flex its vocal cords? And well, a great read by the Ash there. A wonderful pre-fire. You'd imagine information was there as well as Prevail. And a very sketchy round, fight back and get themselves back around, making the scoreline 2-1.
Yeah, more of that objective focus. Try to get the case down and then force Slaughterhouse to escape from their safe advantaged positions into something that is a little bit more of a weakness. Gets Prevail up and onto the scoreboard as we open up into round number 4. Slaughterhouse made their attempt there. They kind of stood their ground, especially Slothy at the early round, trying to make sure that Prevail were not getting that vertical play opened up uncontested. Fortunately for him, Momo was just a little bit faster on the reaction, and the stun effect being on the opposite end of the breaching charge is really no friend of the defender, thus resulting in such a disadvantage. And even adding on the fact that you're fighting up through the ceiling and those metal bars are such a pain in the rear. Go up to dorms again. Prevail last time in their split take struggled with the prioritization of their pressure. They had a decent setup going on for the master bedroom. Opening the wall wasn't really much trouble. They got it open eventually and were able to step into games, but the lack of attic presence really cost them. There was a sort of free opportunity. There was uncertainty if the defense were going to be able to swing from the monster door going between attic pit and then additionally kind of into the midsection of the bomb site. And eventually what that boiled down to was a situation where Prevail tried to plant, but it just got denied each time.
I really like this setup down inside of meeting. That stage wall reinforced hatch opened up, as well as rotation towards kitchen really gives Miku that flexibility, that rotation setup, so they can really stay alive in this fight. That's going to be a key area for the entirety of this round, because attic is kind of a linchpin. You need that position to be able to push in and really collapse on this objective successfully. Oh, well, Miku's going to be the primary star defending that C4 down below and the vertical angles as anyone tries to ball through that. So this take is going to be hampered by that. They don't clear towards meeting. Air jab's already getting placed and deployed, so the rotation up these tower stairs is not likely, but it's not really going to be a primary objective. A C4, well timed, will be able to find so much success and damage. So you gotta wonder if they have the knowledge, the information that they can clear this position as of now. Oh.
Oh, Prevail just did the Jaeger dirty. One shot, one kill. Prevail putting more focus on the attic presence has worked them wonders. You can see already flashbangs. Even Momo starting to feel it just a little bit, and the defense is totally given up here. They have one member alive to play for the vertical game below, but that's really about it. Nobody in pit, losing the Jaeger, causing a situation where there isn't enough manpower to fully staff the objective. Got Gizmo trying to cut off the rotation from the big window as well. Prevail really locking this down and playing it comfortable. If Miku is detected offsite, that could be the opportunity for Prevail to just rush in and overwhelm things. Burnt Turkey's playing for kind of the hobo position tucked up at the window. Call still alive with the Yokai drones. That could be the enough presence, enough utility to deny the plant, but look at this. Maybe it seems like there's one player hiding through the wall, or some uncertainty surrounding that, but Miku plays below. Oh, missed opportunity, but Call will double up on him as it seems like Boomsky exposes himself to the highway window, and Call was much prepared for it. Yep, that's exactly what had happened. Call gets a much-needed kill, put Slaughterhouse Bravo back in an equal set, 4-on-4, under 45 seconds. This is going to have to be a brute force attempt coming through.
Burnt Turkey finds one, but instantly traded off by Momo. A great 1-for-1 there as Rush is going to attempt to get this plant down deep inside that smoke, but Cal yet again making that MP5 SD sing, but Momo finds a trade-off instantly yet again. The coverage was supreme, but up the stairs as Rush is going to get that kill on Miku, and now in a 1 versus 2. Slothy, the fuser has been planted, so 30 seconds till we hit critical. A very tricky fight to take. Now he knows the player off towards that balcony. Perhaps caught a glance there as he tried to rotate through. Again, so many deep positions. A crossfire easy to establish on him. A lone survivor now as well. That's all she wrote. A very tricky position. Caught in a nasty crossfire as Prevail fight back. Find themselves now on level playing field. 2 rounds apiece.
Yeah, they kind of figured out their mojo here on Oregon. Try to leverage that plant and then just put Momo in the path of the defense. If they open it up, the defense runs right into him, and Momo kind of goes rampant. Head down to the basement site, see how this new strategy, new doctrine will play out for Prevail, and the difference maker on round number 5, where it's anyone's game to take advantage. Prevail with 3 attack wins would be fairly decent. That's a good margin and a nice springboarding point for them to work on as we get over towards the defense. I can't really tell you too much about Prevail, how they work against each split. I know their attacks, there's a lot of chemistry that they've worked on building, and sort of that entry potential of Exist and Momo is fairly high. My idea would be that Boomsky can kind of introduce a little bit more structure to this team, given the fact that he has so much experience, and I would hope that would make sense for the defense as well, that Prevail have got some good Oregon strats in prep here with it.
Certainly. So again, bringing someone with that level of experience in can really help act as a solid factor team. All you have to do is look at Secretly's addition to Navi inside of EUL and how well that shored everything up. So, looking at this matchup so far, 2 rounds apiece, moving into our 5th round. Prevail have looked very successful in the early stages of a round. They then begin to slow down a little bit and take their time in that mid-phase as they begin to transfer towards that execution. If they can find a little bit more pace, perhaps find that opening kill earlier in this engagement, perhaps when their entries make that initial push in, they might be sitting pretty to find the rest of these rounds on this attacking split, because they certainly have that potential. And judging by the way they move through the map, the way they position themselves and set up drones and on their initial entries themselves, they're very well structured, well prepared, and understand the intricacies of this map. So perhaps just finding that little bit of a spark to act as a catalyst to get themselves rolling early in the round could really set themselves up well.
Talk about getting set up early. Momo's in meeting. Not even barely 45 seconds done for the clock, and Prevail have already got complete and utter middle floor control. I wonder what Exist is doing upstairs, though. And a bit late on the rotation to come back to the rest of his teammates. Always got keep a keen eye on some of the highlights across the map. Maybe Slaughterhouse Bravo ratting the corner and hoping that Prevail do not fully clear this. It seems for now, and have a little bit of a turtle strategy with an extension and call playing sort of that laundry stairs lurk. It was a big focus from Prevail last time. They kind of put a lot of pressure moving down, but maybe this attack more of a focus on that back stairs and bunker presence.
Lots of pressure beginning to mount on Dog here. A very tricky position to hold. If you haven't done it yourself, you'll know that when you have so many positions to watch, you can feel like every single engagement is going to be your last. But this is what I was talking about. We're in the mid phase of a round. They've got these initial bits of control, but they've yet to find themselves that opening pick, that opening moment. And again, Oregon's a map that does tend to lead itself in favor of that team that plays more reserved, more falling back. But having Elbow still in play, Burnt Turkey in a great position. 2 ADSs, I believe. They even have the third. Couldn't quite spot that, but at least 2. Be able to hold that position, keep that shield in the fight. And the longer that shield persists, the longer he's there, able to hold that line with his SMG-11, the better. Toxic counter to place, so I can imagine his shield's gone. And he's patching it up. So now Elbow's been taken. But 55 seconds left. Can an execution work? They have lots of presence by E-Box. Still, in a nasty position. Momo drops to be able to do so unpunished and look to be just aggressive. Deep by Pillar. Maverick Torch is going to do some work creating a nasty position. That's going to make a lot of heads turn. Lots of headache problems to solve. 40 seconds. Timer begins to tick down. Well, Slothy, a great moment there. We're going to down rush and make a tricky position. The smoke canister is not going to be able to find the kill, but the shotgun certainly is. 4 versus 5. Advantage for the defensive side. And with 30 seconds left to go, they're going to make a dive bomb deep towards this objective. It's all well and good having angles established and having positions to create a crossfire, but you need to get in the objective, get that diffuser down, because that's your current win condition, and we're getting very, very close to mission critical. That timer is going to turn red. Yes, it is. As Burnt Turkey gets to kill the Gizmo, and engagement now. Boomski looking to try and find some retaliation. Spots there close to that breach and does so. Plans to go down by Exist. The pistol in hand, but no! There's going to be a gun down by that Maestro. Post-plant situation, but it is going to be a 1 versus 2, and well, the last one standing is going to be left in DBNO. That diffuser is as free as you'd like, and surely it's the impact. So to catch a wild Boomski. You'll love to see it.
Rubbing it in there. Well, Prevail losing Rush. That key objective player being extinguished, not helping their chances to get the case down, and their attack a little bit lackluster. I have to feel that the pressure from Elbow really got shut down by the Slaughterhouse defense. It's so tricky to play there just through the angle of the Surrey Torch. You got to spray and pray. That's really the only hope that you have. Winning that gunfight, it's whoever gets the first shot on target, essentially, because you don't have a lot of time and ability to react and adjust. The lack of attic, or rather the inability to secure control of Elbow, and the fact that the defense was still able late in the round to kind of play there made sure that the objective was not able to be planted. Prevail did not have cross coverage. They were not able to sit inside Elbow and deny the long angle, either a rotation from the actual rotate itself, from that long hallway, or coming in from Freezer. Going to make attacking that bottom floor objective just oh so punishing. Slaughterhouse Bravo at 3-2. Seeing if they can maybe take a arm's length lead coming out of the first half. We return to the upstairs site. Prevail winning only 2 rounds ago.
This is a very exciting matchup because we've seen Prevail bounce back after losing 2 successive rounds, and they really seemingly had a bit of a grip on the match. They were able to bring that extra bit of pace needed, but again, Slaughterhouse Bravo just went back down to the basement and played, well, very solid defense. Just the biggest thing would be to me that they're playing super reserved, super pulled back, and not giving anything up. Not giving a free gunfight, a free pixel shootout, not even a 3-inch of map control when it comes to those critical positions. Effective. And that's the key to success right now. That's why they're leading, and that's why they could put themselves 4-2 moving on to their offensive split. And that Malusi bench, right beside that main wall as they push through the master bedroom, could be a problem to choke that push down. Anyone who walks in that's going to get instantly detected via that audio cue. But, well, there is what we're talking about. The aggressive play, the quick entries, and this could be exactly what Prevail need to have that extra bit of success. The opening kill. Now they've got that downstairs map control. And you've got to wonder how much of a thorn in the side will that cause for the defense, because you just lost the C4, you just lost your roam presence downstairs in meeting, and Momo is just going to look for more.
Really Prevail's enforcers so far. No loitering on the middle floor as you've lost Miku, who is actually Wubs, for those of you who don't know. He's always changing his Uplay. Before it was like Senpai or something. Don't ask me why, but he is kind of freewheeling there with the Uplay changes. You've got one player that could be essentially taken away if Prevail hold this right. They have plenty of soft breach utility. One breaching round sent below the Dorm's corner could easily mean the death of Burnt Turkey. And to lose your smoke would really add insult to injury here. In your denial, you've already lost half of your nitro cell component. So to lose smokes as well, that could be a situation that becomes irreparable. One on the roam, though. It's Slothy below, kind of hiding away, but Call is now taking DBN. Oh, good work from Prevail so far on the vertical game, but I doubt the confirm will be there as Call crouches across, likely to get Doc in for the res. Prevail making that step towards the objective again, but it sort of looks like kind of the story we've had so far, that struggle towards the mid-round where they just cannot translate their advantage.
Again, when you have this early advantage, the big thing is to play around that extra man count. Because if you just play the trade game in this position, you're going to win just based on the numbers. But again, it's very difficult to make that work in practice. And while they're going to grow that advantage now as exists, finds the kill on the Slothy, that's going to open up wide stairs. Burnt Turkey's next to go, choked out by the asphyxiation dart. And well, 5 versus 2. Doc's gonna be able to find one. Looks for a second, but with so many bodies getting ready to collapse onto this side, the plant goes down, and now it's gonna be a very tricky task indeed. Well, Boomski, oh, what a shot from outside, but Doc's gonna retort and find his own Hellish Rebuke with a one tap deep down towards that window. But again, the fuser's down. Verticality is there in so many nasty positions, and well, Rush in one of the most heartbreaking positions to fight against, up on that roof. Finds that kill, shuts down Doc and ties everything up. 3 rounds apiece here. A very tightly contested opening half here in Oregon, but what more would you expect between 2 of the best sides in our group stages and on a map this equally displaced, such as Oregon?
Yeah, Slaughterhouse kind of leading a little bit into sort of that wait-and-see mentality. A few things outside of that strategy. A little bit with Rome coming in, but when it happened in the final round especially, I think it kind of handicapped Slaughterhouse Bravo more than it had helped, simply because Prevail had intel and they were ready to make the play. A little bit more gusto on that final round. We'll put them at 3-3 as we go over towards the Prevail defense, see what they've got in store, and now the onus is on Slaughterhouse Bravo. They're going to need to make that first step in. However, I'll say Prevail are not going to make that terribly easy for you. They're going to have Exist and Momo playing fairly aggressive. It isn't going to be kind of that just let's sit inside the objective idea. Prevail are going to try to swing you, and if you leave open a weakness, they'll be ready to pounce.
And that's exactly what you need to be. When you spot an opportunity, when you see that weakness, you've got to go full send for it. Always be opportunistic inside a game of Siege. You never know what chances the game will present you and what opportunities your opposition will give you. So, side rotation. This is always an interesting round. Round number 7. In any matchup, no matter what level or region, it's always one of the most interesting because you see a team that's had their defensive strategies all played out. They've had to decide, no matter if it was frustrating or not, they have to kind of leave that in the past and reset, especially when you find yourself in a 3 rounds apiece. It is kind of a great equalizer. It really does change the tempo of this matchup. I do like this extension in towards armor. The reinforcements getting placed here. I wonder, it's because it's not a very common position to see that getting reinforced. If something's being spotted out in VOD, perhaps, knowing that there could be a likelihood of Slaughterhouse Bravo attacking that side. And, well, judging from Cal's positioning right now, it does seem that this could have been a very good readout, or he's just holding it. Have that crossfire deep towards Mountain Bedroom.
So far, so good. I really like this strategy that Prevail are implementing here, the trophy extension with ADS on the door, so that if the attackers try to get leverage, try to use, any lifelines, anything like that, they're going to be shut down. Just as I mentioned that, the aggressive play by the defense will start off immediately. It seems like we have a little bit more in terms of what that strategy was about, the extension. The big problem there, that's half of your hard breaching component, leaving things really up to Slothy. Nitro launched out the elbow, almost spotted. Such a tough fight. The Maverick losing so much HP. His frags would be one option here. We'll see a singular one go past. This Gizmo holds aggressive close at the window. This is such a difficult fight to be in. Calls pressuring for vertical from below, but the information on this position in Armory a little bit outdated. Gizmo will begin to swing. A second nade is tossed in, but he continues to dip dodge, and dive away. Gizmo for the swing. There's just no pressure from main, and he's allowed to play willy-nilly inside the Armory. More and more frag grenades will go in, bringing the total now to 4, but with no success. Oh, Momo just baited and ripped apart by Call.
What a shot, what a read, what reaction, but the damage to this round may have already been done. A fantastic trade-off to get at least one back, but you've lost your hard breach potential. All of that's gone, so you've got to funnel in towards these nasty positions. Doc gets one, but cannot make the wonders work. Couldn't find Gizmo, who still persists, as Rush is going to get one of the burnt turkey now in a 1 versus 3. We'll find Cal. Again, 45 seconds left to go. The damage done from the player inside of Armory. It's all but over. Yes, it's Walks and Gizmo who finds their third of this round. And that is going to be kind of the tail of the tape for this entire round. Was Gizmo in this position able to burn away so much time, so much resources, and he just kind of exists, still staying there to get that final kill. Shows that perhaps Prevail read into something they've witnessed Slaughterhouse Bravo do, whether it's in VODs or scrims. So very intriguing.
That was a disaster on wheels for Slaughterhouse. Not only just having Rush swing out of the main master bedroom door and find the ace completely unattended, but everything that developed as a result. Slaughterhouse Bravo tried to keep fighting into the mid-round, but after losing your hard breacher in that scenario, it's really not going to get much better. You're going to have to play for frags, and Prevail won the game, won the round, and pretty much came out on top in that battle down to the basement. Now, no notable changes for Slaughterhouse. Going to continue on with this same track. There isn't a whole lot that you can really do for Oregon. You run pretty much the same composition. So far, the idea for Slaughterhouse is to bring that Iana, add a little bit in terms of extra intel, and then have your Nomad to clamp down on the aggressive plays. However, that aggression really didn't suffer as a result. It seemed like Burnt Turkey was never even able to really put the air jabs into use.
Yeah, those air jabs, not a single one detonated. I don't think I even saw one getting placed down, but again, it's easy to miss in the chaos of a round. You gotta always wonder, when you saw that there was so much of a resistance getting put up towards Armory, that top main stairs, that they could have rotated away and tried something different. I guess that was a little bit of a tricky task, considering the hard breach was gone instantaneously. As such, losing an ace is a massive blow, especially considering how much those Selmas can open up and really change the flow of a certain site. But we shall no longer reminisce of what we just had as we go downstairs to the basement. The first time we've seen Prevail go here to this site. And it looks like we're going to see a very similar entry point for Slaughterhouse Bravo, pushing in deep from this western side, getting control of Elbowing by showers, and I like this. It kind of establishes a foothold, it establishes an area where you can work from and begin to set up everything else required. It doesn't require you funneling into the default entries like up in T3, where you can often find yourself getting choked out. One key difference is the lack of presence inside of meeting, as well. Momo is very nearly going to find himself a tricky engagement, is going to find himself left in DB. Doc shuts that down, but Gizmo was first to fall at the hands of Cal, and very rapidly the offensive side find themselves in a 5 versus 3 advantage with still 2 minutes left on the clock.
Prevail opening themselves up to that by holding aggressive on staircases apiece. We had the K die just here at the back of the stage area. Momo and Gizmo losing out on any opportunity to use their nitros. That's going to put a lot of pressure on the shoulders of Boomski, Exist, and Rush. You now have to hold off a full-strength Slaughterhouse Bravo, who are hungry to take this back at a 4v4 scoreline. Boomski thinks about the nitro, and Doc, as a result, a little bit more hesitant. But look at this, the Goyo just moves up and gets flattened. Doc, no mercy, taking no prisoners. Slaughterhouse Bravo look like they're about to ramp this round up on a whole nother level. It'll be down to Exist and Rush. This would be a clutch for the Aegis, and Doc isn't giving them any slack. Now as it's only Exist left, that'll be Slaughterhouse to clean it all up on the basement site. A flawless round, and that aggression from Prevail costed them big time.
I mean, I think the game itself put it perfectly. A flawless round from Slaughterhouse Bravo. Whether it was from the opening engagements, they found that early success. They never really gave up their chokehold on the round, and Prevail couldn't really get an answer, whether it was in terms of kills or anything. They just kind of floundered out, and that ties us up 4 rounds apiece back on our scoreline. Going back down to the basement, second time of asking, the biggest changes I think they should be making is to play kind of how their opposition did. A little bit more reserved. Pull back. You don't need to meet your enemy on the front lines. Wait for them to come towards you, because at the end of the day, you can set the pace on that defensive side. And a site like this, when there's so many positions, it's very tricky to crack that down when it comes to a 5 versus 5. That could be their best bet to at least get themselves back on that front foot. So pull back, play a little bit more reserved would be at least what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, I'm a smelly caster. I don't know how to play the game.
All right. Down to the basement. Here we go again. Prevail, I feel like just going to change the execution of this strategy and not the implementation terribly too much, because, I mean, you just can't give the attackers that easy option to shut you down so early. In a 5-on-3, it's just such a disaster for the defense. You have to balance so many things, and for the basement site, there's 4 distinct entry points. If you ignore the hatch, I mean, that's just... You just don't have enough people to bounce between all of those angles, and Slaughterhouse moved in from Freezer like a specter, overwhelming Prevail. Things became very difficult very early on. Momo's playing aggressive by the bottom of the staircase again. We'll see how that works out. Doc is maybe hungry for it. He'll move in, think about opening up the hatch.
I love that both these teams have very much similar styles on how to get that initial entry. We've seen a very kind of rewarding system, pushing in, getting that initial map control, finding those kills, but this is wonderful to see. Teams have that level of confidence just to push on and get some early control. It does seem that Prevail have fallen back a little bit, or playing more reserves, so this could cause some problems. You can't climb a ladder with your Gemini replicator, but I know we have the benefit of knowing no one's up there, so hopefully they're able to gather some reasonable information from the use of that replicator. You know that they're pretty safe for this entry. Every single blue silhouette downstairs, holding key positions on the objective itself, so this gives Slaughterhouse Bravo the kind of safety net they would like. Be able to open up this hatch, get controlled by Blue Bunker, perhaps even take this dangerous engagement by tower stairs. And that will be one to keep your eye on, as Doc's queuing up, has that Gemini replicator ahead, as well as a drone of Miku, and this is going to be a must-win engagement. If you can clear this player away from Pillar early, you set yourself up, you set your team up with a great chance of being able to split this site in half and make everything uncomfortable for the remaining defenders. Minute 25 remains, and this is going to be a very pivotal engagement as things continue to pour in.
See some utility fly on by, but nothing will uproot exist so far. Slothy for the rotation, maybe thinking about a frag grenade, but actually it'll be him going out of the building. Burnt Turkey down by the main stairs. Boomski just working his way up and isolating an attacker. Unsupported now as Exist will pick away at Miku. Losing your ace as this attack is crumbling for Slaughterhouse. There's that crucial engagement you mentioned, working completely in favor of Prevail, and now leaving things up to Slothy and Call, who have no remaining frag grenades, the utility quite low. One replicator in the tank, but I doubt that's really going to be the difference here. Slothy almost had an angle there. You've got to win some of these fights. You need something to try and pull this one back, but look at Exist's position. Call is being pestered, constantly slowed by the Banshee. Slowly trying to inch his way forward here. There's a big one. If you can translate it into something a little bit more. Spotted the shoulder of the Malusi down the end of the hallway. Boomski goes aggro, but look at this. 2 for the lineup and right through the Maverick hole. Rush will finish it off before Slaughterhouse were able to make that happen. It came down awfully close there from a 5-on-2 to something that looked workable.
That really just showing, you know, that initial phase, that's where Slaughterhouse are finding that early success. And if you play more reserved in these defensive sites, you're going to find that little bit of extra success. So 5-4 our scoreline, moving into another Dorms defense. And this is a very, very tight matchup. It is the finest of margins separating these two rosters. And I wonder if we're going upstairs to this site, it's one of the most played on Oregon, if Slaughterhouse Bravo can crack this. Now, it's been a very, very difficult task so far from the to get the success up here. But again, I don't even want to call, even mention how I think a round will play out, because I know these teams will try their darnest to prove me wrong.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused.
It's hard to count on something like that when Prevail are such a team that changes on the fly. They brought the Goyo again, so I wonder if this is going to be that same sort of Armory Master Side extension. It worked wonders for them last time, but Slaughterhouse Bravo are going to remember that, and they're going to make a few changes and not allow themselves to just be completely ripped apart. Shotgun hole's open in the attic wall, which is curious. I wonder if they're going to have this left open as a rotation route. That would be... It's fairly rare to find that left open for the attackers. I mean, you could just move into attic. You don't have to wait for hard breaks. If you've got, I don't know, send Call in there early. He's had a fairly good game. If he just crouch walks through, that could be a disaster.
Very much could be. Anytime that someone can just crouch walk deep towards that objective, it can be a disaster. A lot of times in all the games I've seen, I think Clubhouse is a great example of just someone can pop up in a random position. I think one of those big memories is just people always crouch walking up that main corridor down in the basement. But the entryway is beginning, and it looks like, again, this armory presence is going to be a primary objective for Slaughterhouse. I don't quite know if it's a wise idea to commit so much to this when you could just kind of establish some positioning, just like instead of Attic, get that opened up, and, well, this is going to be a well-cooked grenade. Is the ADS gone? Well, no, but the nade's just going to go a little bit awry. Skizmo can sit on this reinforced hatch, play this position, and I imagine he's just going to wait, burn away as much time as possible, and play his life here. Second grenade, primed and ready, and surely this one's going to hit its mark. It does. But he stays alive, and now he can just battle away. SMG-11 in hand. We saw how effective he can be. C4 toss out, but to no avail. But the key thing of this is he can go back to this reinforced hatch position and burn away more and more time. And it seemingly, this is the entire push. The Selma used below, and finally the M4 sings and Gizmo falls. But what damage has he done using up a Selma on that hatch and the time he's eaten away? Masterclass of how to play into what your opposition want to do.
I guess put Gizmo somewhere, and he's going to waste time and utility. Momo will rotate below and pick away 2 on the trade game. Boss Call and Burnt Turkey now up to Slaughterhouse to try and step up and recover this one. But Miku gets absolutely felled at the wall side. Boomski to pick that one off, and now things up to Doc and Slothy. But look at this, Zoe's ready for Momo to come up the staircase. Will it be the pre-aim? Momo! Oh my! Just absolutely getting the work done. Only Slothy left, otherwise Prevail stepping onto match point here. Looking like a defensive win could be coming through for regulation. Unless Slaughterhouse come at this in an entirely new way. They react to the strategy that Prevail executes so expertly, but it really doesn't help them terribly too much. The util burn was still there, and nobody in position to get an early clampdown on Gizmo inside the armory.
Oh, this round, well, we have 30 seconds left on the timer. I'd imagine it's all done and dusted. And Miku finding, or sorry, I should say Gizmo, I should say. Brain, oh my god. Momo. Brain has had a little bit of a moment there. But Momo finding so much success. Exist was there at the final kill, but Gizmo as well. Yet again, that hold inside of Armory burnt so much time and utility away. Both grenades of Selma, and finally they're able to clear that player, as well as, I believe, 2 breaching rounds used by that Ash. One position soaked up so many resources and so much time and concentration from every single player. Why commit to that when you can rotate somewhere else and perhaps try a different push? Because clearly, Slaughterhouse's attack that was focused on getting armory control has been read into. That strategy is countering them perfectly, and they haven't got an answer for it, so perhaps mixing it up. But I don't think that side's going to be much of a factor now, as kitchen dining is getting brought out, as this is Prevail on match point. Can they close this one out right here, right now? Or will Slaughterhouse begin to claw this one back? I'm wondering. Aruni always lights me up. I'm always interested to see what teams will bring out. One of the newest operators, of course, to the defensive lineup, and some of the setups I've seen revolving around these Saria gates have been fantastic. And on a site like this, I think it's got some good potential.
Well, thinking back to the first time we saw this objective in round number 3 on the first half, it played out. Prevail really dominated in that round once they got over sort of that mid-round hump that they were struggling with the timing. The way that Slaughterhouse had executed things on the defense, they played a fairly typical strategy, kind of the Maestro extension here inside of Showers Hall, and then kind of open things up as we'll see here. The strategy not changing terribly too much. The emphasis on the vertical play for Slaughterhouse Bravo wasn't the biggest thing in the world. There was somebody up there. We didn't really get a whole lot of time to talk about it just because the attack and the round's biggest focus was on the pressure coming in at Small Tower Actual and not the attackers moving in to try and deal with anything for the vertical play. You've got Exist and Momo staffing that upstairs play, gonna hold off and try to play some of the vertical angles. There's a very tight one you can get from the hatch, but look at this. Gizmo already taking a very substantial amount of damage, maybe just getting shot up through the Whitehall window. That'd be my conclusion.
Lots of players just queuing up outside of Small Tower right now, and this is always an interesting engagement to watch how teams try for its initial push, whether they commit to clearing upstairs or Small Tower becomes that primary front line. And that's going to be a lot of damage done to Gizmo on that Aruni. One thing, instead of Showers seeing those Saria gates set up, that's going to be an interesting engagement, but that does limit Boomski's availability to impact trick that single wall, giving him that extra bit of cover. A smoke grenade tossed in, and that might cue some thoughts on the defensive side to think a quick plant's coming in, but no avail. And wow, that drone hole. I hope, Gizmo, you do not get caught by that, because that will be a very unfortunate demise, as Cal's going to get the opening kill. Momo falls. Slothy's going to take a lot of damage in return, but 1 minute 30 remains. Grenade very narrowly before he bounces off the head of that Maestro. Minute 25. All the primed and ready. Saria Gate burnt, and a swing is there. Finds the head of Slothy. Looks for more. 81 rounds to work with, but Doc is there to pick up the pieces and get his team back in the front on the driver's seat. Reads the rotate. Perfectly done. Second kill in the round, and a minute remains. Rush trying to find some control again. It exists upstairs on a hatch, but this push from Small Tower has gained so many rewards, and we'll surely be able to get this execution down. Bulletproof camera persists, but the air jab is there. The read isn't, though, as Rush swings the corner and finds Burnt Turkey. Perhaps that could be the catalyst to get things back, as Exist gets one on the Cal as well. Doc is trying to get to cover that plant down, as Exist looks to deny it. Perhaps the swing is there, but no. Tricky fight through this remaining of a wall. Rush be able to help his teammate out now. The fuse has been planted. 38 seconds till we go critical. Red marks are there for that add a bit of information. A critical moment for these teams, 2 versus 2. Pressure is there. Nerves are high. Very tricky engagement. Miku's going to be left in DBNO. Doc is going to get a kill as well. It's going to be down to a 1 versus 1. Doc's got a very good track record. He's been so potent for his team. The information is there, but they're going to play a ring around the rosy. It's a tricky fight for both parties. The SMG-11 a bit wild and unruly. Is it going to be the very defining factor of this? It runs out of ammo. No! Oh! That was a very narrow margin indeed. The SMG-11 magazine runs dry. And Sophia, thankful for that one, being able to close out the round and keep Slaughterhouse Bravo in this matchup for one more time. Round 12, end of regulation. Will Prevail take it, or is overtime in our sights?
Well then, Doc doing a difficult dance to evade what would be a regulation closeout for Prevail in that round. It came very close. I think probably a little bit too close for Slaughterhouse's liking. Gone from a 2-on-4 advantage where it looked like Slaughterhouse were prepared to crush Prevail into dust, back into a near 1-on-1 there at the final seconds. But the SMG-11, you just don't have many bullets to pre-fire and get away with it. That dining side, it comes so close. Going now back to the basement. Prevail, last time they won this round, it was quite stylish, I have to say. Their first attempt at the site was trying to find a word that would express it, but not be... let's just say, it was kind of awful. Prevail lurched away from the objective. Gizmo died at back tower. Momo over-aggressed at the freezer stairs and was consequently shut down. From then on, Prevail just lost men by men, eventually Slaughterhouse closing it out in what was a flawless round. But their second attempt was not awful. In fact, it was much better. They played more on their strengths. They waited in some of those kind of entrenched positions at the objective. And it was really all started off by the fact that Boomski went aggro up the laundry stairs and found Burnt Turkey just unassuming, waiting at the main lobby. We didn't exactly get the full context of what that situation was, but either way, came out on top, and it gave the defense a 5-on-4 that quickly expanded into a 5-on-2. Intel is there, though. Look at this. Look at this whippet. They have full information. Momo hiding, waiting in the corner of dorms with no support, none whatsoever. They just don't know.
This is nerve-wracking because, well, those shots going through that window instantly show the intent. Now Momo knows pressure is there. I wonder if they just waited to collapse, and Momo finds the one on the Cal. Oh no! They had all the information. They lose the entry, but Slothy is there to pick up the pieces and get that trade. Oh, that could have been a very different story indeed.
Still not getting away as cleanly as you would have liked to. Traded 2 of those impact fraggers. But you lose Call's frags in the meanwhile. There is some explosive loss on behalf of Momo, but some time waste to be constituted by that rat corner position up inside dorms as Prevail now get to fall back to the objective and play for time. 90 seconds eclipsed. Slaughterhouse thinking about what their execute will look like. Maybe more of a laundry stairs push. And Freezer with that extra bit of spice as the hatch becomes open now. Sloppy making headway with the Surrey Torch. Exist is below again. We saw him so effective last time he played this pillar position. Just shredded through the attackers. I believe picked away both the Ace and the Sophia who had challenged him in that spot. Final round, it's do or die here for Slaughterhouse. Bravo need to recover this one, otherwise they will be heading down towards that middle part of the scoreboard and Prevail, advancing forward in what has been a close series so far today.
Final 50 seconds now, so can the offense finally break this deadlock? Will Prevail, well, prevail in this and secure what they had on match point? Boomski takes a little bit of damage there, but a great swing. Exist gets the kill on the Slothy. The advantage now sits to the defensive side. That smoke cans are choking out the push, and well, Exist finds a second now. The advantage now doubles. Miku's going to get lit up, but well, Exist finds 3. One more to go as Burnt Turkey tries to battle away. Last man standing in a 1 versus 3. Pistol in hand, but surely all odds are against him. Caught in that Banshee and faced by Goyos and smoke canisters and guns galore. That timer is gonna hit red, and surely ARX cocked, primed and ready, but that's not gonna be enough. The body's dropped prone, finds that kill, second in the round. The swing is there, but no! Very, very narrowly misses that kill. Got the down, but Boomski there to collect all the pieces, and that's gonna be securing the victory for Prevail. A very, very narrow margin in that final round of regulation.
What a poetic end to Oregon as it's the newest member to the roster, Boomski, the final man standing and the defender there to close it all out. Gotta give props to Burnt Turkey, put his effort forward and was almost able to draw that one all the way back to a clutch, but Prevail playing well through that final round up until the bloody end. 7-5 on their record as they will advance forward to a 2-0 record here in the spring split of Upsurge and a closely fought Oregon. Slaughterhouse Bravo not giving Prevail an easy look at things and really hoping that they would win it all the way towards the end. Oregon done and dusted. Another game still on the cards coming up later tonight. Any closing thoughts there, Whippet?
The biggest thing that is how close that matchup really was. You know, yes, they got a little bit closer towards Prevail there, but every single round came down to very small defining factors. And that's the biggest thing between these two teams. When you see two heavy hitter teams go against each other, when rounds come down to the narrowest of margins, it shows the class of both these rosters. And I think both are going to take from their losses in those rounds, learn from them, and come back better and stronger from it. Massive congrats to Prevail, of course, and well, what a fantastic final round to close that out.
Yeah, I mean, that one just came down so close, and we're going to be heading to a short break. We've got another game still later on. It's Team Mystic taking on X13. That one I feel like going to be fairly close. X13 have had a dominant run so far this season and in the qualifiers, but Team Mystic are a name that everyone in North America and T3 is very familiar with. Stick with us as we get everything prepared for the second map here in UPL R6. A short break just ahead.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Upsurge Premier League group stages. Well, we have had a very exciting matchup in our very first game of the day, and hopefully our second one can deliver. I'm, of course, Whippet, and joining me on the other side of the virtual caster desk, the only Sticula.
Yep, glad to be here. We've got Team Mystic, one of the powerhouses inside of G3, and even shaking up a few teams at the Challenger League level. Looking on the opposite side is X13, a team that are fairly new, not the most established, have been playing together, I believe, about 2 or 3 months. Some familiar names on their roster, some people you might have seen scrolling through your Twitter feed, notably one of my favorite players, Habibi, who has a lot of experience going back to Challenger League qualifiers and Tier 3 competition. I think Team Mystic have got a fairly good chance at winning this game just because of their merits themselves. They are an incredibly coordinated team. They're working towards that SCS Grand Final, which is coming up in the next few days, and they're really not letting their foot off the gas pedal whatsoever. Their team does not take prisoners, and X13 will be no different.
Well, hopefully it's going to be an absolute barn burner. Well, in all of my time casting in Europe, there was always one North American team I would hear whispers of, and it was always Team Mystic. Everyone that I ever knew who came over here always mentioned or always talked about the performances they put in. So finally, I'm going to get the chance to actually see them play, get to cast them, and finally get to feel them out. I've never had the pleasure of even watching them. I actually coming into this reasonably blind without a VOD on them directly. I've got to cast X13 in the previous week so far. I'm really looking forward to this one. I've heard so many great things. I wonder if they're going to be able to deliver on them.
All right, well, we still have to answer that time-old question of where we'll be fighting things out on the map, Vito. It's Clubhouse, the decider map, and the second game tonight for the final day of UPL week number 2. I don't know, Clubhouse, it's a map. I'm glad that Mystic banned the Oregon, so that we don't have to go to Oregon twice in a row. You want to be able to save Oregon. Mystic have a lot of competitions that they're playing in, so they kind of have to be a little bit decisive with which map. They can play fairly comfortably, I would say, on a lot of the maps in the pool. They've been an early accommodator of the newest map in the pool, Chalet, but X13 taking that one away. So Clubhouse as the map tonight for the second best of one. Mystic, if they come out of the gate hot, it'll be very difficult to put a stop to them, even for the quality and coordination of a team that X13 are.
I mean, that's the story of best of ones, but looking at the map we have of Clubhouse, I always mentioned it is one of my favorites because I think this map will probably always stand the test of time in Siege. No matter the climate, no matter the meta, it's always adapted, and it's a very good indicator of how teams stack up directly compared to each other because everyone knows at least how to play the core fundamentals of this map. So when you see two teams go head to head, it shapes everything up fantastically. But no more waiting for casters to start game because here we are, our second match of the evening, X13 versus Team Mystic, and moving into our ban phases. It's probably going to be a pretty standard ban phase if all things considered. I'd imagine Thatcher, Maverick, probably an Ace or a banner are going to be in this set of attacking operators getting banned out. Wouldn't expect to see anything on the bleeding edge of strategy just quite yet, so will it be proven right or wrong as there's Maverick first to go.
All right, Maverick taken away, and thank you, Whippet, for pressing the start button so that we can jump into Clubhouse. See what Mystic have got in store. I think there could be the chance for the Thatcher ban here. I wonder if Mystic may be thinking about something more outside of the box. I like games where Thatcher is left up on club. I feel like it makes things a little bit more of a consistent pacing. There's Mystic. What will their selection be? It's the Ash ban. Wow, okay, so kind of a target ban taking away on the behalf of X13. And we'll have to see. No comments as of yet in the chat, but an Ash ban, yeah, that one packs a little bit of a punch. Could impact X13's ability to play the fragging game, but it'll be Mystic who really bear the brunt. They begin on the offense here for the first half of Clubhouse.
The most intriguing thing about that Ash ban is the fact that you now see a Thatcher slip through. You also now see Ace Habana, lots of hard breach potential, and those EMPs are around. So this is going to be a very different shape of our Clubhouse to what it used to. As Maestro, the last operator to go, and well, the all day. It's such an iconic weapon for me, and it's always slightly painful to see it go. But on a map like this, lots of choke points, lots of doorways you can funnel in. Makes a lot of sense. And those evil eyes, of course, provide a ridiculous amount of information when set up and positioned correctly. CC and Cashroom will be our very first side of choice. And well, already we're seeing that Thatcher getting brought out, which is somewhat of a rare sight. And well, I'm not going to complain because it does change the tempo, change the pace of a map like Club. Because all you have to do is, well, drop that EMP. Your electric claws are now gone. That wall is essentially free and lets you move through that checklist of very key things to achieve much, much quicker. And will X13 be able to deal with that? Yes. So I'm intrigued about how this will play out.
Yeah, I wish we had interviews here in Upsurge because that Ash Bam, that one really leaves me scratching my head. X13, I don't really have one particular Ash player. I would guess maybe J Slime could fill that role. I have heard some of the ranked legends about J Slime. He is kind of a demon on the Jaeger Ash insta-lock, but maybe Mystic something a little bit deeper here in terms of that. Ban, when you've got an Ash being removed, that's going to make it a little bit more difficult to play that soft destruction game. Only 2 lifelines on Feltwinter's behalf, so leaving things up more to Whitlock playing for the Sledgehammer, and as well any frag grenades that he decides to bring on top of something different from Mystic coming through in the later round. So far, X13 have not reinforced the platform wall. Unless I'm missing something here with it, I do not know what is going on with the platform wall, as it has been left completely soft. Let's see how this one is going to work out. Well,
I hope it's not. No, there it is.
There it is.
I mean, if some shots went through just a little bit earlier, perhaps they got some success. I was thinking in my head as you hand it over, how can I justify this team's decision? How can I make it sound like it was strategically responsible? And I couldn't pull it out of my head. Even they were perhaps a little bit perplexed about what happened.
Attackers have located a bomb.
What a wonderful start to this matchup. So, Thermite Charge getting placed. The bandit's going to attempt to trick this. And the biggest thing about when you have a bandit that is actively tricking, you've got to commit someone downstairs. You've got to push someone inside of lounge to clear it. Or you can send a grenade to the heavens, but that's not going to connect you enough damage. Well, it is just going to be able to push away Snows for a little while, and that's going to mean that wall is established. Gunner's first to fall, however, at least left in DBNO. Nothing else knows that damage being done. Takes some reverse damage through that window as Feltwinter inside of Logi, perhaps trying to do some damage to that player. Gunner drops down. Well, be very careful. Don't stumble too close to that wall, otherwise you'll get a nasty shock. But Thatcher now reduced to 20 HP. So that man count still level. A minute 40 remains.
well, that's a rough one. An early death of Gunner would be promising for X13. These defense rounds are going to need to rack him up because Mystic play well across both sides of the bomb. Construction pressure coming in. This is really nothing to shake a stick at. It's a split take. Rex Heavy's playing all the way out in the warehouse. He'll file away Snows. Just such a deep angle. Take a look at that, will ya? Felling Snows. Unbelievable that Rex was able to make that one work. It's a big pick, though, but look at this. Habibi playing below. Nitro is ready. Tossed up. Will it connect? No. Seems it missed, and even despite Xeno being in close proximity, nothing will work out. However, in the meanwhile, Gunner finally gets confirmed and picked off, but Feltwinter taking a little bit of chip damage off the back of the exploding X-Kairos. J Slime still's got thoughts about a potential roam to flank up from the main staircase as J Slime eagerly he lurks below. But Craze is ready to peek the breach. This could be a big kill or a complete disaster. It'll be the former, and he bounces back for another one. Craze for a triple kill. Mystic shaking in their boots as the Cade completely dismantles their attack. The fourth is his. Can he collect a fifth for the ace? Craze unstoppable with that AUG. Slowly picking him away. He'll get it. Craze with the ace. X13 sound off in the first round of Clubhouse.
Well, what a way to make a statement, Craze. Take a bow and a nasty angle to find your fifth for the ace. Well, I mean, Craze, I think that's a pretty good description of that round. He was just able to take every single gunfight and go, right, this is my objective. This is my round. I'm going to shine. And well, 5 kills later, X13 have the lead. 1 round into this matchup, and they're opting go to Gym Bedroom for their very second side. An interesting rotation around, but I am going to complain. I always like it when teams try something new. I wonder perhaps if the Bucks going to be left a little bit high and dry, because that choice is primarily probably brought out to do the verticality for the basement from Logi. And that mirror getting 6-pick 2 from that Kaid, presenting a very different challenge now to deal with these mirror windows. I wonder if we see one placed in that default position facing towards the Jacuzzi hatch, or will we see some more creative and inventive uses of these mirror windows?
Well, here's a fun fact for you. Craze is one of the first players that I casted going back to guess what you could call kind of like my debut in a T3 league, EPS, way back in the day. Now, more than 7 or 8 months now. Some of the new players to see might not even remember EPS. Craze in that time played for a team called the New School Originals. They didn't have the best run inside of EPS. I'm trying to think where Craze landed. Yeah, he was actually, despite his team's lackluster performance, Craze was like one of the top 10 players in EPS. Again, some familiar names. We're talking players like Aether, Vladder, Tater, X24. A lot of sort of the old names of Siege. Craze was among the top of them, and he played during that time and really living up to the expectation here with an ace on the first round. Puts X13 on the board as we transition towards the gym site.
So this gym bedroom hole can, well, live and die on the extension hole down towards cash, depending on how much time this can burn and if you can chip away HP and utility. J Slime on that Jaeger could do a lot of damage. Again, a very potent player when given the opportunity to do so, and this is going to be a very critical moment. That Thatcher makes this a difficult hole. That wall is not likely long for this world, and that's going to open up a very difficult challenge to solve if you're on the side of the defensive option of X13. X-Thermite charge already getting placed. The impact trick is there, but won't connect. It looks like Habibi's trying to take an aggressive stance on this position. It's going to get swung on, and well, Feltwinter finds 2, and well, if you can look for an opening kill, there's a great way to find it. 2 for the price of 1, and the advantage very firmly sits with Team Mystic. Now, all they have to do is play their numbers game, and they can pick apart this defensive strategy. The biggest thing holding on is that going to be the mirror window instead of Logi. An EMP tossed out with a well-timed bandit trick is going to enable that trick to come out, keeping this window in place for just a little bit longer. He's going to try and actively trick this away, stopping the X-Kairos pellets from doing their work. And well, if this window persists, this could be a massive problem for Team Mystic. It gives so much information on a very deadly emissary to fight against. The X-Kairos pellets trying their best. The impact trick or the concussion is there, and Snow is opting to keep his life in check for just a little bit longer, but walks very nearly into a kill on Rexy there. Imagine if you found that very quick transfer towards that Thermite.
Now there is a threat now. The Thermite is ready for it. The knife peek baiting away at the main staircase, going for the prone angle. But look at this. Whitlock chimes in from out on the balcony. Mystic, they respond to the ace with a brutal, flawless round. Fury fills the air on Clubhouse, and that's a tertiary loss. Nothing to come out of that round for X13 as Mystic fire on all cylinders, bringing us back to a 1-to-1 position. X13, decision is theirs. Going down to the basement, it'll be no repeat on that gym site. Mystic overwhelming them entirely.
Overwhelming, a perfect description of that. Mystic from the very get-go. They looked like they had a very defined strategy, a defined plan of exactly what they wanted to do, exactly how they were going to deal with every single puzzle presented to them, and they've done a great job of that. And that just shows, to me at least, the class of this team, and I really like the momentum they're bringing. They have the Thatcher for that easy clear of utility away, and they're playing very, very well around it. And lots of teams I've seen, especially in Europe, have played Clubhouse when a Thatcher's made it through the ban phase without bringing them, because they're so used to the system of not having those EMPs, even to their own detriment. I've seen it. And I love when teams have the confidence to put them in their lineup and go, we're going to play around with these EMPs and really increase the tempo. Downstairs we go. Habana is going to be a key factor of this. The Kaid's getting brought out, but it's all well and good having the electric claws. It's going to perhaps bait out that EMP, but at the end of the day, those hatches are not safe with that Thatcher-Habana combination on the board.
X13 just really confused me for a second there, because on my notes, I got to take record of if there's a plant or if there's a win, and then I suddenly recognize, wait, I just put an X for the round win. How does that make any sense? There wasn't a plant, but X13 is working their way in. Okay, Feltwinter? Wow. What? Where? How? Habibi just gets taken away. Was he trying to play aggro in blue and just got shut down? Yep. It looks like that was the case. Maybe he tried to rotate back, but the tip of his head just speared away by Feltwinter.
Oh, that's not a good start from X13, losing Habibi so early. Not Malusi. The Banshee is probably placed and primed and ready, but you have to consider that's a lack of a C4 impacts on the board now as J Slime deep inside of blue, trying to be secretive, waiting to pounce when the moment is right. Thermite charge placed and deployed, so that's going to be the first hatch established. And with so much hard breach potential, it's going to be very difficult to keep on these hatches while Feltwinter finds a second on a bit of a roll right now. That's going to be J Slime off the board, and once again, Team Mystic with an early 5 versus 3 advantage. X13 back against the wall already. And Craze, the man of the opening round, a very tricky engagement. Feltwinter seemingly confident to take this engagement, even though it is a nasty position, using his drone wisely, getting that extra information, queuing himself up as well. His team already have the wall of Church open. Moto control is there. That's going to be Elseth getting one of the Exo, but that's going to be a very, very rapid collapse. Feltwinter to find kill number 3, and Rexy as well getting the Elseth. Team Mystic, well, making very short work of that basement defense. Often one of the easiest sides to bunker up and drag it to the deep water. Mystic just done everything perfectly from the opening kill to getting those hatches and that very, very rapid control. X13 somewhat smothered out of that round.
And Mystic just stormed the castle walls, shut it all down, and put themselves up by 2. Starting to build up a little bit of confidence here on their attack. Things were rocky in the first round with Craze dropping the ace to guarantee that CCTV defense win. But since then, only a single kill across X13 in 2 rounds. That is something dominant for Mystic. Looking for their 4th to move into the 4th even. Coming up next, let's see what'll happen. CCTV back open and unlocked for X13. They're going to have to rely on something a little bit more than Craze, and it looks like we'll have the wall reinforced right at the start of the prep phase, rather than closer to the end with it.
Far more strategically responsible than this time. Finally, learning their lessons, perhaps. The wall's been reinforced. Perhaps that was Craze's lucky charm in that round. You never know. So strategy-wise, it looks like we're going to see pretty standard. All the reinforcements going down in garage. The double wall is on as well. This is going to be meat and potatoes setup-wise. And I wonder, though, will they play around that bandit trick again? If you have that bandit trick available to you, you're actively doing it. It can tend to force the commitment of someone downstairs inside of lounge. So will someone like Habibi try and fight that position out? Is that entry is going to be likely? Yellow ping's used out, but no one's going to be there. No one's going to be close to them. As J Slime, instead of escape tunnel, what was he plotting? I wonder.
Maybe he was thinking that someone on Mystic was going to do like the dirt tunnel rush to get into blue, but no one is at home, and J Slime now going to play for blue control. Thermite is successful, so now you've got one of the big garage panels wide open. I give Mystic an easy way to step inside the garage. However, Habibi is ready for the challenge as he waits by small steps. Snow's playing again for that bandit trick on the main breach as Habibi finds Whitlock. The loss of the sledge, it looked like he was trying to rotate to play for that nade again close at the breach, but now you've lost him and no one there to really step into the place. But as Habibi tries to cross, that'll be the 3rd round in a row that Feltwinter will kill Habibi as he just cannot escape, and Whitlock, question marks all across the board there.
Oh, J Slime once again inside of blue, trying to stay somewhat concealed, waiting for an opportune moment to strike. Might find it here as Feltwinter uses those impact lifelines to create that vertical position. And while J Slime pounces but can't find a lot of damage for his efforts, Gunner's gonna be able to get one of the Craves, shutting down the man of the hour last time we were on this site. Concussion grenade bonks J Slime, and that's gonna be forced out of retreat. As well as compatriot not looking too well in that position as well. The advantage sits with Mystic now in a 4 versus 3 as Rexy tries perhaps to push up those stairs. As Gunner's going to be left in DB now on those rafter stairs. Finished off with the MP7 of Snowy now with 3 versus 3. This is a tricky position for both these teams to find themselves in. 1 minute 20 remaining. The main wall hasn't been opened yet, but no risk of that info, no risk of that bandit trick. It's going to be established. So X-Skyros pellets chew through that and give an opening. They're not going to be rotating down towards construction. I don't think they have the time to do so, nor the resources to make that work. Only pushing towards rafters now. That's going to be Rex now. Thermite remaining. Tracer's just whizzing past his head and perhaps cautiously trying to wait for some information, an extra call, or a teammate to split the site in half via this balcony. Well, 50 seconds. Real danger moment. Perhaps not wise to concentrate on those X or those claws right now. That's going to be Thermite getting J Slime, shutting him down. 40 seconds. Very critical now. This is going to be a push in towards the objective. Crossfires are held. Snows is going to be in a very prime position to be able to shut this down. Smoke canister tossed out. Flashbang to try and push the bandit away. Very, very tented a few seconds here, waiting for the prime moment. And what Elseth finds a great burst, squeezes that trigger of the SMG-11 and sends Xeno to the grave. Snow gets lit up from the balcony. 2nd kill for Feltwinter. Now it's all down to the soul side of Survivor Smoke. But Elseth is going to make good with that SMG-11 shotgun in hand. Timer hits red. 10 seconds left to go. Feltwinter playing a dangerous game, but through the wall finds the kill at a default position. Oh, Mystic looking very, very strong.
And the first sign of a round that comes a little bit closer is X13, forcing Mystic to really work for it there. The battle for control of the rafters and then the push on towards the site. Gotta give some credit to Elsist for that shot that he pulled off, just swinging the corner with the SMG-11, expecting the aggro play close at the CC window and shutting it down, though unfortunately that soft wall was his undoing. Mystic to pull up 3 attacks, looking for their 4th. Will it be done? Going down to the basement. This site, very decisive the last time. For X13, I almost something a little bit more towards the roam. You cannot allow Mystic to set up for their execute because they will go for it and they're going to truck right through you. Maybe more of a roam would be amicable to try and slow this one down, stall the pressure, force Mystic to use more drones, expend more utility in the run-up, because if they're full strength when it comes down to the execute, we already know what that looks like down here in the basement.
Team Mystic have really impressed me so far. Everything I've heard about them being super dominant force, a very strong, refined team. Well, all the rumors, all the speculation I've heard are true. And Mystic are playing a very strong game of Siege here on Clubhouse, and you can see that they're very comfortable here. X13 on the defensive side, historically the advantage side. Recent memory, we're getting to slip more in favor of the attacking side. I've seen at least personally lots and lots of attacking side of Clubhouses, but X13 need to show a little bit more life in these final 2 rounds in their defense to get some rounds back, at least for their own mental side of things, be able to get rounds back to that close 1v1 situation again. Maybe back inside of blue, and this position hasn't really been working out for any member of X13 so far. Early casualties galore. It looks like an entry from stock is next to come as that's going to be Zeno trying to push through, waiting for that extra bit of information. X-Kairos pellets primed and ready, so that hatch is going to be the first thing to get popped open. Lots of drones being established towards jungle and strip club, and Habibi did do some damage, but decided to go back down towards the objective and sit tight. I think this was a wise decision, because every time X13 is kind of extended away from the core parts of the objective, they've had heavy casualties, and that's led to a spiral down. That's how Mystic have found themselves 3 rounds up.
I think one part of this game that's even scarier is the fact that Mystic have 3 attack rounds and Gunner has been fairly silent. If he starts to wake up, X13, there could be trouble on the horizon. Gunner is one of the best players, I'll say, in T3. Probably a good competitor for that top spot. For him to be 1 and 2 so far, anywhere here, he could start to really light up the scoreboard. And there it is. Gunner finds Habibi peeling away. The Thatcher 2 and 2 now, but Craze on the flank catches one off guard. He'll go for the knife. Salt in the wound for Feltwinter, who's caught completely lacking. And good thing Gunner had secured the earlier kill onto the Malusi. Otherwise, this thing would be a little bit more worrying as Mystic in that scenario disadvantage. But Craze still working around on his flank. Whitlock, though, places a nade just right at the dirt tunnel entrance. Shuts down Elsis, removes the smoke canisters, regains Mystic their man-up scenario. Now Rex Heavy forcing his way on through the dirt tunnel. J-Slime just opposite the dummy corners. Craze is filing down the main staircase, though. Might be able to catch one off guard. He waits for just a moment, hesitation, but he'll connect the shots. 3 on 3. Mystic looking to explode onto the objective, and Zeno now conscious of the roam potential. Let's see what'll happen as we get under 1 minute remaining, and J-Slime is going to make this quite difficult.
Craze perhaps sensing blood in the water now. I'll make that a very rapid collapse there. Craze was able to get one on the Whitlock there, and Zeno shut down by that AUG. All came down to the Craze of that roam, that flank, finding those 2 kills. Very, very pivotal to be able to get that successful round. A much better showing from X13, and I think they're beginning to learn from their mistakes. They're not extending deep towards blue. They're not fighting that initial entry. But once Mystic find themselves in the objective itself, they're going for flanks. They're trying to be as disruptive as possible, and that's really what I like to see. A massive credit to that, and X13 find themselves in a position where if they win this next round, they can go to their attacking split all tied up. Craze 6 picking away to that mirror. Habibi going to go onto that castle, as CC and Cash is going to be our side of choice. And not often a castle pick down here is a very common sight, but I wonder if we're going to see a mirror window placed on lounge wall, facing in the garage, with all of these castle bearers to help secure that position.
Yeah, I want to see how this will play out for the castle. One thought we might see is a barricade placed on the CCTV window, just because of the effect that Whitlock has had with those frag grenades, denying the ability of Snows to bandit trick. This is quite the unorthodox strategy here, as you've got holes open, And wow, Rex is excited. He is ready to see what this strategy is going to look like. I think the Mira Hope will come through. You've got Craze going to play for a Lounge Mira. This is a strategy I have not seen before. X13 really at the cutting edge. Let's see what it'll do and how Mystic respond to a strategy that they might not be totally prepared for. This is the rare opportunity that we get to see something totally different on Clubhouse.
If my notes are correct here, I believe last week or 2 weeks ago, me and McCready got to cast this moment, and well, Habibi's going to strike first. Massive openings inside a garage, just going to lead to great opportunities for that. But X13 played this before on this map. Apologies for not being able to pull the opposition they faced on this, but it was a massive success just because you don't see this every day. In scrims, other league matches, who plays this strategy? How many times are you going to see this in your experience? Barely ever. So they could catch Mystic off guard, and so far, Zeno's already off the board. Bye-bye Havana. And a great start from the defensive side of X13.
Yeah, that's a good way to get this one going. Rex gonna play for the Exothermic as Snows. He is out of commission on the bandit trick. A little bit of sleep at the wheel there. That's gonna allow them to get the barricade, get the full reinforcement now open. Banshee in the path, however. Rex gonna be at least cognizant. You've got Habibi waiting up here on the balcony. And it's good to see Habibi start to chime in, because he has had a rough start. At least the entry death in 3 of the rounds that we've had so far. I didn't manage to catch who had gone down on the opener in the first, but still, Habibi has just been getting rocked by Mystic. Whitlock gonna go for kind of a sneak play in from Stripper Hall. This could be pretty big, but the barricade in the way is gonna make sure that Whitlock won't be able to get that full surprise that he might have been hoping for against the Malusi here.
This is going to be a very tricky engagement, but this castle barrier placed perfectly in bar. This is going to be a very disruptive tool, and well, J-Slime spots the feet, does some early damage, but caught in a very nasty crossfire, dropping prone, using that stage area for some added cover. Feltwinter caught in a tricky position as well, battling against 2 fronts. Whitlock's fallen very far back and not taking any chances, but this is where the setup is so advantageous. It burns away time with that added level of confusion, but Feltwinter is going to go from one to another, finding 2, and perhaps that could be the moment to pick this offense wide open. An exothermic charge used to open a castle barrier, I believe. The snow is going to left from DBNO. The advantage continues to grow for Mystic, but downstairs, they have to push upstairs. They have to get to the objective. They have to make that push soon, because they only have 30 seconds remaining. Can they make this work? Lots of utility available. LSET's going to have those toxic canisters, and they're going to grow only in strength as this time begins to drain away. Both of them used in rapid succession, and EMP tossed away to burn anything extra towards utility. The push to get the plant downs coming soon, and a very good smoke counter that choke out this initial push. The Diffuser's stuck on that balcony. He's going to be able to try and get a back plant. Yes, he is. Rexy's going to get that kill on well. A very rapid collapse there. 2 for Thermite, 1 for Feltwinter, and Mystic deal with the unorthodox mirror strategy to find themselves yet another successful round.
Great 2 picks there for Rex in transition as he locks off the construction door and then battles down the top red hallway. Gonna put Mystic at 4-2. Nice margin built up on their offensive performance. Now for the transition, the second half on the way. Jim Bedroom out of the gate for Team Mystic, playing that tertiary strategy. Going to show us what it's capable of. X13 tried it once and never again. Mystic dispatched with it in an excellent fashion, just obliterated the cache extension and left nothing in their way, kind of salt the earth. Yeah, Whitlock, he's got a comment for that. I agree with Rex. I like that strat as well. It's creative. It almost worked, but when you got Feltwinter on the offense, really it doesn't matter what strategy you put in his way. He's going to shut it down. He can get frags, he can find the entry, and really just pick up kills out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I think it's still in that strategy is still in the kind of raw part of development. They're going to be pulling out in league matches to have somewhat of a test, but there's potential there. You know, you never know. You fast forward a few months and it could be the primary thing lots of teams run. But I always like to see someone innovate with something new or bring something unorthodox, because you never know. It might get you around for being like a pocket strategy where it just catches someone off guard. But unfortunately for X13, that wasn't the case. They're going to have to go back and develop that in scrims and squad review more often as we go to the side swap. Round number 7 is upstairs we go for a very first sight, but not CC. It's Jim Bedroom. So what often for many teams is that tertiary side will be broad. and our primary for Mystic. And I like this a lot. Confidence in bringing perhaps an off choice of map or off choice of site. I wonder, will this catch X13 off of the craze inside a strip club? Perhaps trying to make a push up those main stairs. Drone game is there. Feltwinter finds Craze, and well, he's not going to be long for this world. As Feltwinter having an absolutely fantastic matchup so far. 12-2. This man seemingly cannot be stopped and finds a lot of damage on the word Snows. I think Cabana's going to think twice about taking that fight yet again, and well, repelling up towards Jacuzzi, not wanting any more to do with that MP5.
Yeah, I gotta give Feltwinter a little bit of distance, kind of step back and try to play away from his game. Losing Craze, that's a difficult one. Big component of those frag grenades. The way that X13 attacked this one is quite confusing. They have not really made much effort to push for the extension side of things. They're going to instead focus on the Mira that Rex is set up in a way that is going to be very difficult to work through here. Already one of the walls is left soft and opened up below, and now we'll have the actual reinforcement removed by means of the Selma. Rex is going to wait on the other side. Oh, but there's Gunner peeling away with the head of Snows. One for the reverse repel. The Nitro launched out by Gunner, a little bit off target. That'll be largely a waste of the C4 utility. Feltwinter caught out in transition by Jay Slime. It looked like down by the stripper hallway. Selma doing some good work for this Mira setup in the bathroom, as it's going to be a little bit more difficult for Rex to play this here, but he still feels quite comfortable. X13 don't have the most consistent pressure, but now Rex is sent down, and the confirm is there. Habibi to pick up the headshot, putting X13 back in an equal footing, 3-on-3, under the 1 minute mark. As X13, this is really their round to lose. Got to make the progress towards the objective to find what we're going to see here on the tertiary site. Oh, but Gunner, the bullet hole peak. Elsys is shut out. Not even a shadow of a doubt on that kill. X13 in the disadvantage, but Habibi stepping up when it's needed. Brings this one back to Barrett, a 2-on-2 as Xeno's playing so carefully behind the shield. EMP tossed, but the first captured by the ADS. Habibi's going aggro, gonna swing for it. Spots the smoke behind the shield, but not being given the kill so easily. Battled back and now has to hide inside the bathroom as Jay Slime goes for the transition. Coming in from the rotate, Whitlock needing to help this one out here, otherwise his smoke in difficult waters. But as he'll peek up, he'll find Habibi, and Jay Slime is just not there for the trade. He needs to be there, but Xeno will shut it down as he bounces from angle to angle, and Mystic collect their 5th round on Clubhouse.
The composure to play behind that shield when your position is being bared down by 2 active guns. Take a bow for that one, Xeno. A massive play to get that round for Mystic, giving them a 5-2 advantage and starting off their defensive split with a little bit of a bang. A close engagement, everything considered, but remember, that was what's often, for many teams, a tertiary site, and for what seems to be some good reason. But Mystic played it super comfortably, and Feltwinter, a player I think we're going to highlight almost every single round, just existing, causing chaos, being a nuisance wherever they stand, and that opening kill ultimately set the pace for that round. And really, if he was given a single more pixel at Habana in that opening engagement, I would have put my money on him finding a second kill. But credit where it's due, they managed to shut him down in that transition. So downstairs we go to the basement, and I'm wondering what exactly we're seeing. My mind is thinking, okay, it's confirmed. We're going to be seeing that 2-1-2, or more commonly known as the SSG hold. It's very common to see teams kind of forget about this. It's not been part of that active meta for a long, long time. Somewhat cracked. Lots of VOD reviews have been made upon it, how it can be exposed for aggressive pushes. But still, it's something you don't see every single day, so it might catch X13 off. And again, Mute Mozzie is always a nasty combination to fight against, especially knowing that there will be that extended roam presence away from the objective.
Yep, Mystic for the roam. Let's see how X13 dispatch with it. You have to be affirmative against a team like Mystic. You cannot afford to let there be any uncertainty, because that's where Mystic really thrive in. If you open yourself up, Mystic like to play in sort of these undetected positions, waste the drone game, and then slowly kind of whittle down with the clock. The intel economy has already suffered a bit of a blow as you've lost 3 of the 10 drones, which isn't going to make this much easier as you've got Mute Jammers and Mozzie Pests still on the map. And look at this, the intel game is just dropping by the second. Already half of the intel in form of the drones is gone. It's going to have to leave things up to Jay Slime as the one attacker who can kind of recover the intel acquisition situation on the round. Gonna play more of a vertical setup here. The fact that you have not cleared the roam and already lost so many drones, that is critical.
This is going to be a really tricky position for X13. Information is a premium. It's power in Rainbow Six Siege, and while not having that added eyes on where your opposition are, can often feel like a chokehold on your round. And already they're seemingly struggling to find that initial pressure, that initial clear. And the moment they do commit towards either dropping that hatch or getting closer, the rotations are there. It's so easy for these people to drop these hatches, recollapse on the objective. As Willock is a great position to try and cause some chaos, but Gunnar is just going to take a swing. He's going to get wild and aggressive and find the opening kill, waving goodbye to Habibi. That's going to be your or your Thatcher, I should say, gone. Where exactly was that? Where exactly did this happen? Was that the player on the rappel? The rappel by the boxes watching the hallway by jungle? No, I don't believe it was. Okay. I'm not a detective for a very good reason.
Wow, Gunnar is really letting him know as he just continues to peek and waylanes this X13 attack. Some aggression from Snow, swings the corner, puts Feltwinter in the dirt. Mystic still hold on to a thin advantage, 3-2. Does X13 make progress down the hallway, but Snows, he fumbles the bag. He loses the battle against Gunnar, leaving things just up to J-Slime, who will charge into the site just to be immediately traded. Mystic, round number 8 is theirs on Clubhouse as they move up to match point, leaving X13 in the dust.
Oh, showing just because a strategy isn't used in T1 as regular as it used to be, that it can still be potent no matter how it's played. That SSG or 2-1-2 hold played to perfection. X13 just didn't have the answer to it, whether it was that aggressive peak from the Mozzie, finding that opening kill. It just began to collapse from that. So CC and Cashroom, our final site, or potentially our final site, I should say, as X13 on the attacking side, I've somewhat not felt to have as much fang or claw, potentially haven't been able to draw blood yet. This is very important that if they want to survive in this matchup, they've got to find a way to do damage now. Backs are against the wall, all eyes are on them. So CC getting brought out. You know, I do like seeing a lot of the use of the Ana, but I wonder if they could have brought an operator more specifically suited for this. A Buck would be very keen as well to go down below inside of stock, chewing open the floor inside of Cash, making the positions uncomfortable. But I wonder, Mystic's going to do a bit of an extension away. Yaruni often, to me, kind of tells me they're going to try perhaps to extend away. It adds that extra bit of reinforcement or shoring up of those kind of further away positions. Or just the extra utility of bringing, being able to punch through walls or put Saria gates in key positions. We're witnessing now. I'm going to put it there. This is a pretty standard setup to all things considered.
Try to get more standard than a CCTV defense on Clubhouse. I was just kind of thinking about this the other day. What the Aruni will be. What is Gunnar doing? He just kind of hops out the window. Did he pick away a drone there? We need like a replay. I don't know what that play was, but Gunnar has kind of been fed up here. And I spoke about this earlier with it. You'll remember on the first half. The idea that Feltwinter was popping off and Gunnar was kind of quiet. If he starts to heat up, the game might become a bit of a runaway train. And look where we're at now. Gunnar 7-5 and Mystic are 6-2.
Mystic is just playing an absolutely perfect game so far. Habibi making that entryway and not checking all the positions. Gunnar finds the opening kill. Oh no! You've got to drone that out. You've got to have the information, Gunnar. Just curious exactly what happened there as Craze looks to find the kill on the Whitlock, doing so successfully. 2 in the round now. But Gunnar, thinking about it, contemplating, you can see the cogs turning. They want to jump out. He wants to get a kill here. I wonder, will it go punish? The information is there. Elset knows Aruni's there. The drop from the ace, going to be very loud and easy to read. Aruni disappeared, vanished in the night behind that weight rack. No one is going to be there. This is just going to be a very tentative moment. Drone spots it out. That's going to be Feltwinter finding another kill. Craze is next to go 3 versus 3. And everyone getting some eyes on Gunnar. This player in gym is causing chaos. And while J-Slime reduced to low HP as Rex is going to hit one of his own on the snows. A knife peek is there. J-Slime chases after that Wamai. Finds a little bit of damage, but so low himself. And upstairs, through that hatch, Feltwinter waiting for someone to stumble into the opening arms. That MP5K. An up-mid attempt is there, but no one's going to be home.
2 men alive in the final round. The difference maker for X13, if they want to hang on, gonna have to be here. But Rex, he's the dream crusher as he'll swing around. Fells Elsist and leaves it all up to J Slime, who dies to Felton bottom garage. And that's Mystic with a dominant victory. A 7-2 as they close out Clubhouse and don't even look back. Such a dominant performance today, and Mystic really showing why they are one of the top competitors here in Upsurge and in all of the amateur competition here for North American Rainbow Six.
Upsurge delivered. I've heard so many things about them, and finally getting to see them in action, everyone was right. They are a super dominant team, and I actually want to keep following them through this. They show so much potential in that matchup. From everything they've done, from their entries to their executions to that mid-game, the information peak, and their defensive strategies, they might be a very close to a complete package team. I'm very impressed.
I mean, the way that they play, they have coordination. There's clearly chemistry that's been built. There is gun power. I'm sure nobody can really deny that after seeing what Feltwinter and Gunner made happen on the server. The strategy is there. I mean, Rex is such a good leader with Gunner as kind of that dual kind of leadership role, owning up for the team. And when you have all of those things together, it really is such a dastardly mix to try and get in front of. Part of the reason why Aerial Arise had such a long dynasty was because of that leadership and the capability that Gunner and Feltwinter brought to the team. The same definitely true here on behalf of Mystic, who continue their run through Upsurge. They had a difficult loss in week number 1, which was a surprise as they were taken out by Prevail, and everyone was kind of left scratching their heads, but now that things have been fixed up, a week 2 win is theirs, and a dominant one. Going to give them a nice boost in the standings, as it's a 7-2 that goes behind them. But that's all for UPL R6. I've been Sticula, my co-caster Whippet, for another fun night of Rainbow Six, but Upsurge is not going anywhere. We've got Upsurge Premier League Valorant up next. It'll be Slaughterhouse versus Team Mystic, and that'll be Orbital and Nightstar casting. So be sure to stick around and give a little bit of help over to them. Show your love and tell them what Rainbow Six is really all about. But thank you everyone for tuning in. We hope to see you hang around for the Valorant matches.